Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. In today's coverage of the ongoing civil war taking place inside of the former state of Ethiopia, the fighting continues. We continue to receive reports and now alleged video documentation that indeed Abiy Ahmed has fled the capital, Addis Ababa, under the guise of participating in direct command and control operations of the ongoing fighting. Now, what is strange that as opposed to directing the fighting to areas of where the fighting is most relevant and most intense, such as near Debre Berhan, as the Tigrayan Defense Forces continue to move down from Shia Robert, Debre Sina, towards the capital of Addis Ababa, and as we continue to see the Oromo Liberation Army operate to the north and northwest of the capital of Addis Ababa, Abiy Ahmed, the former prime minister of the former state of Ethiopia, has appeared to have fled to the Afar region. Now, the reason we believe that he is now in Samara or locations near Samara is that the possibility of him being able to directly flee into Eritrea is much higher now. He was probably unsafe in Addis Ababa. Again, if and when the main international airport or the main Air Force base to the southeast of Addis Ababa, also known as Finfine, is seized by the Oromo Liberation Army and or the Tigrayan Defense Forces, or both, he would find it very, very difficult to get out of the country. It would then be an overland route, and he would also risk surface-to-air missile fire as well. So again, it was probably safer, and under the tutelage of Isaias Afwerki and under the security blanket of the Eritrean State Security Services, he is probably now being protected in the vicinity of Samara. And again, the idea that he is orchestrating battlefield movements and command and control over fighting units in the Afar region, when the most significant parts of the conflict right now are taking place near Debre Berhan, simply doesn't make any sense. No sense at all. So that is probably why we have seen him flee Addis Ababa and make his way to the Samara region in the Afar region. The video evidence would indicate that he is in the Afar region. Now, that doesn't mean he is actually now in the Afar region. He could quite possibly be in Eritrea. He could be someplace else, but given the video information we've received, it would appear that at least he's temporarily moved to the Afar region. But again, the heaviest fighting, the most intense fighting now is taking place near Debre Sina, Debre Berhan, as the main body of the Tigrayan Defense Forces continue a multi-front advance from Desse Kambalcha ultimately towards Addis Ababa. And then obviously from the map, as you can see, significant areas of the Oromia region are under the control of the Oromo Liberation Army. Again, much of the areas to the north and northwest are under the control of the OLA, and again, the Tigrayan Defense Forces continue to advance and envelop Debre Berhan. We also know that there are OLA elements also to the southwest of Debre Berhan. So the idea that Abiy Ahmed would proceed to the main frontal headquarters near Debre Berhan and oversee operations is something that he did not do. So again, in all probability, he has fled Addis Ababa for his safety, and having better access to eventually, if need be, flee to the despotic state of Eritrea and his very, very close ally and mentor, Isaias Afwerki. But again, we believe right now he is probably in the vicinity of Samara, quite possibly has already relocated to Eritrea, and that is the current status of the former prime minister of the former state of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed. And again, why I identify him as the former prime minister is he has in fact relinquished prime minister powers and is allegedly taking more of a military role in the conflict as a direct frontal commander, so to speak. But again, his experience in a general staff role is not significant, and if any. And again, the likelihood of him actually being in that role, again, other than fleeing the capital for his own safety, is probably what occurred. But again, the fighting continues as the Tigrayan Defense Forces continue to move south, north, and south of Debre Berhan. It appears that, again, we're starting to see the envelopment strategy of Debre Berhan and operations near Debre Sena. Again, the fighting continues still just to the west of Debre Sena. I talked about before that this area would be a very significant point for defensive operations by the remnants of the Ethiopian National Defense Forces and the Amhara militias. But again, it would appear that the TDF is in fact working its way around Debre Sena and again towards Debre Berhan, and we're also seeing activity of the OLA to the southwest of Debre Berhan as well. We can confirm as well that the limited counterattack towards Lalibela by Amhara regional forces was defeated in zone. They have since pulled back from the vicinity of Lalibela, meaning they, Amhara regional defense forces, regional militias. I talked about before, we're going to slowly start to see this turn into more of a Amhara-centric army, and that's kind of what we're seeing now in regards to that operation that the Amhara regional militias attempted to carry out near Lalibela, and indeed were then driven back by elements of the Tigrayan Defense Forces. But again, that is the status quo as we set. The simple fact is that indeed Abiy Ahmed has fled the capital of Addis Ababa. Now, will he return? Could he get to a point where he feels that it's probably safer and a possibly better strategic decision to come back to Addis Ababa, especially in terms of from a morale standpoint? Obviously, the people in Addis Ababa are now very well aware that he has in fact fled the capital, Addis Ababa, also known as Finfinne. It is very, very apparent that Oromo Liberation Army assets are just to the north of the capital, and now Tigrayan Defense Forces are now closing in on the capital via Debre Berhan and from Shia Robit. But again, we could see him quite possibly return if it is seen as a tremendous strain on morale, and if it slowly starts to become apparent that he has in fact fled the capital. Now, at this point, it's very hard to say what he is going to do. Again, he is probably under the protection and direction of Isaias Afwerki and the Eritrean State Security Services at this point. But again, things are very fluid. Things are collapsing fairly quickly for the remnants of the ENDF.
Right now, the biggest contributors towards the conflict against the TDF and the OLA are now Amhara regional militia units, as the Ethiopian National Defense Forces have sustained such catastrophic casualties and loss of manpower and equipment. But again, that is the state of affairs. We will continue to monitor the situation and report as the conflict continues. Have a great day, everybody.